more frequent in green, you want to think about certain infections, viral infections, the gastroenteritis. And there's one infection that's really classic for green stool, and that's something called Clostridium difficile colitis, or C. diff. This is a pretty serious infection that occurs in people who are taking antibiotics, but it's going to be obvious. You're going to have abdominal cramping, you're going to be going more frequently.
You'll have other issues other than just the color.
Other than just the color, right, exactly. Now we go to this is probably the most feared color, which really nobody wants to see in their stool. And as we mix this up, right.
So you think blood, you think cancer, colon cancer, right? I mean, people start overanalyzing.
Exactly. Now this again is the same thing. Red often can be caused by what you've eaten.
If you eat beets,
culprits.
and I love beets, you are familiar with this situation.
And I think everyone at one point or another has had the experience of seeing red stool and then saying, "Wait a second, I've eaten beets," and breathing a sigh of relief. But the first time you see it, it's a shock.
Right.
The interesting thing about beets, it can actually turn your urine red too. So people think that they're bleeding, and they're really not. So again, play back in your mind.
Examine
what have you
your
eaten?
diet. You are what you eat, literally, right?
Exactly. And again, if you haven't, if it persists, then you want to start thinking about the serious things that you talked about.
Then you go see the doctor.
Exactly, and get that checked out. Now we have something that I hazard to guess that most people haven't seen, and this is, if we can get this food coloring out, this is yellow. Now yellow is difficult to get just by diet, and so I think the interesting thing about yellow is that yellow is a sign of fat in the stool. Now we all eat fat every day, but if our digestive systems are working well, we break it down, we absorb it, and very little, if any, ends up in the stool. But if you're not absorbing fat, and this could be because of problems with the liver, with the pancreas, then the fat will actually go through the GI tract, it'll make it in the stool. And the interesting thing is there's actually an over-the-counter weight loss medication that actually causes weight loss because it prohibits your body from digesting fat. So if you're taking that medication and you see yellow sort of greasy stool, that's going to be the fat in the stool.
Wow, unbelievable.
And then lastly, as far as color is concerned, stool can come out black.
That doesn't sound good. Black's always ominous in books.
and it can be as far as stool is concerned as well. But again, this is not going to be a dietary issue. This is going to be a supplement issue. So if you're taking iron supplements, people are anemic, they take iron. That's probably the most common cause of dark stools. The other over-the-counter medication is bismuth. So if you've had a little GI upset, a little traveler's diarrhea, and you've taken some bismuth, it can actually turn your stool dark. And an interesting thing, it actually can turn your tongue black. So if you've ever taken bismuth...
Are you kidding? Wow.
You get this all the time. People are scared they have some deathly disease, and they actually, just because they've taken bismuth, it stains the tongue and can actually stain the entire GI tract black. So that is over-the-counter. That's not a concern. What is a concern is if this is a sign of gastrointestinal bleeding. So we all know that blood is red, but if you're bleeding from the stomach, from an ulcer, something high up in the GI tract, as that blood makes its way down, it turns black. And it comes out like a very tarry, sticky consistency. And again, your doctor in the office, if this is a concern, can just do a quick test to know whether this is from blood or from something else.
So if you're taking any of those things that might affect it otherwise, you're fine. Otherwise, you need to go get that checked.
Get that checked out.
It could be the sign of an ulcer. Okay, so Shannon's next. Where's Shannon? Hi, Shannon.